So Donald Trump has his weaknesses, and honestly, he's kind of annoying and makes some big mistakes. He shared a really stupid AI video the other day on Twitter. Um, he does these types of things fairly often. He's one of these guys that I think he does love America, and I think he's trying to fix it, and I respect that. But I really personally want someone in like Vice President JD Vance. So if Trump just decides to, you know, resign a few years in, I would not be disappointed at this point. I'm much more of a fan of the slick and intelligent and calm and Catholic, at least trying to be, JD Vance. And another one like him is Ron DeSantis. Now, DeSantis did not have a good showing while trying to run for the primaries against Donald Trump and deservedly lost. But man, he's a good governor. And he showed it again just the other day regarding Andrew Tate. So, Andrew Tate took a private jet from Romania, where he has been hounded by the police. He went to Romania because he's being hounded by the police in Great Britain. And now he is flown from Romania to Florida. And here is what Ron DeSantis had to say about that.
Whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Kristi Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, is looking at whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Kristi Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out through the media.
So he is saying he's trying to pursue ways for Tate to not legally land in Florida. But he doesn't say he can't come to Florida. He says that he is not welcome in Florida. And I think we need to appreciate that as well. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about them saying he can't come to America. That's a dangerous perspective since Tate is half American citizen, I think half British. But I love seeing a governor stand up for a moral principle, actually saying, no, we're not going to allow this guy in, or we're not, I'm sorry, we don't want him here. You are not welcome here because you are a pathetic piece of garbage, which I absolutely believe Andrew Tate to be. He is the one of the worst things in the world right now. He is the opposite of the transgender, gay, all this, feminism, all of this different stuff where everything's gone and become a bit soft and feminine. He is on the other side, but way too far on the other side. The virtue is in the middle ground, and it's something that Father Geckel mentioned the other day in our chat, that he was saying that the actual root of the word masculine comes from being virtuous. I couldn't find it in the chat, but it's the vir. So you think about virulent, virtuous. These are mainly attributes. So to be manly, to be masculine, is to be virtuous. Now, I don't think there's anyone who would argue that Andrew Tate is virtuous. And kind of a funny side note, we saw this again. I think Father shared this from the Babylon Bee. America is back, baby. Conservatism saved as Muslim sex trafficker brought back to U.S. And that's exactly it. He's a Muslim. Supposedly, I think he just does that to get himself out of trouble. He is a womanizer at best. At absolute best, he's a womanizer. At worst, he's a sex trafficker and a horrible, horrible criminal. He's abusive. He's verbally abusive. He's physically abusive to women. He is a horrible human being. I mean, truly one of the worst. And he's someone that, unfortunately, many young men emulate. They want to be him because he's tough and has fast cars and lots of women, I guess. Yeah, and he's also had to flee several countries because he's a criminal. Is that really what you want? And I think we need to make sure that the young men of our time do not think that this is what you want to be, that this is masculinity. Absolutely not. This is pathetic loser. Like you can't get much more of a loser than this. You really can't. I mean, if you ever think that you need to, especially ever if you need to be physical with women, you think that's masculine? Really? You big tough, kickboxer guy thinks that you need to be physical with women? I mean, it's pathetic. And I think again, I really want to say thank you to Ron DeSantis for saying, no, you're not welcome here. Our society needs a lot more of that. We need to ostracize people. We need to say, no, your conduct isn't going to work here. That's what it used to be. You had these little villages. They're like, oh, hey, here's a terrible person want to move in. No, sorry, bro. Next village, give that one a shot. Someone like Tate, go to Siberia. For all I care. Don't come to America. I don't want you here in Bavaria. And I think we need to start really trying to do that more as a society of saying, no, we don't want you. We don't need you. You're not welcome. You are not welcome here. And if we have more of that, you're going to have fewer creeps, fewer, at least public ones. Sure, you're going to have plenty of people privately, but it's one of the crazy things about Andrew Tate is he does all of this publicly, or a lot of it. And he's using his example for whatever reason. Young men latch on to it because they see this machismo. It's fake, totally fake. Your true men are the ones out there being virtuous and working real jobs and supporting a family, having one wife, for goodness sake. It's not that complicated, guys. There are other virtuous men, and I understand in the public eye, there are not that many. So that's why I hope and pray that people like Ron DeSantis and JD Vance are actually that. Maybe they are actually good, virtuous men. Now, they're not to the final steps that we all want them to be, but they could get there if they're truly virtuous, if they're truly good. And I think, as we've seen to this point, they seem to be. That is manly. So, way to go, Ron DeSantis, for being a man and telling Andrew Tate he ain't welcome. We need a lot more of this.